So before Christmas, I tweeted and asked people if I should get a camera for Christmas so I can make some vlogs to let people know more about the modern day Muckrakers and what we do. So the first video that I'm making is today, and basically it's gonna explain how it all started and what we did and where we're at now. And then after, I might talk about some future videos that I'm gonna make. But yeah, that's what we're doing today. So with FCCLA, every year we compete at state, and basically you have to do a community project and then make a board about it and then answer some questions about it. And so I was going through this thing at the time, and we were reading all this stuff about it, and I was like, oh, well, we're gonna make people talk about this. So my mom was all on board and Caitlin was all on board, which was my friend who I competed with my sophomore and junior year. So the first year it was just focused on sexual abuse, and the statistics for it are all so high. It's every 2 minutes in America someone is sexually assaulted, or in the next year 500,000 babies will be born that will be victims of rape before they turn 18. And it's this is happening, and everyone knows someone who this is happening to, but no one talks about it. You hear about bullying and child abuse all the time, just child abuse in general, physical abuse, but you don't really hear about rape, even though it happens to so many people, but it's just bad to talk about. And we called some grocery stores and we made some flyers, and our goal was to raise $1,000. And at first I was like, that's impossible, because I made the goal. But then I was like, we could totally do it if we start now and we don't give up. So we started and we made these flyers, and we I think the first place we were at, it was the first day, and we were supposed to go to Save a Lot in Coleman, but then there was a veteran sat out in front, so we had to find somewhere else to go really quick. So I think Warehouse in Coleman let us set out in front of it, and we raised $200. It was the first time that I set these out, and it was the first time we did anything for this club. And it was only 2 months after I told my parents about what happened to me. So this woman came up and she looked at it and she started crying, and she was like, I'm sorry, I don't have any money to donate to you. And then she left. And then she came back again and talked to us, and she just said, it's a great thing you're doing, blah blah blah. And she left again, and then she came back a third time, and she was like, I don't have any money to give to you guys, but this is such a good thing that you're doing. And then she started crying, and she started telling us about her story, and then we hugged and everybody was crying. And then she was like, whoever's going through this is gonna be okay, and all this stuff. And she was so kind. I don't know her name, but basically it was from that point I was like, this is why we're doing this, and we can't stop because there's so many other people like that lady. And so then I created a website where people like that woman could share their stories on, but at the time my stuff was still on trial, so I couldn't share my story. And we had 6 shared the first week from people, and I only knew 2 of them. The other ones were just on websites that I or Facebook pages, groups that I invited people to come share their story before we even had a page or anything made. People used the website, and we had some interviews in the newspaper, so people saw the website and the Facebook pages and the Twitter and us in the newspaper, Then they saw us at the grocery stores and at the football games and all this stuff, and it was just straight donations from people in Coleman and in Marshall County at different grocery stores. And we raised $1,000 for the child advocacy centers in Coleman and in Marshall County. And so the modern day Muckrakers won the Stop the Violence program, which was the first program in Arab High School that ever won a program. And I was an officer over programs, so that was pretty cool. So then we went to state with it, and later I'll probably do a video of like what state's like, so people will actually know what it is when I say we go to state with FCCLA. So we competed at state, and we got gold. It was me, Anna Marie, and Caitlin. And no, we didn't get gold. We got silver, but we would have got gold, but they took 1 point off because our shirts were wrinkled, and that is crap. Okay. So this year we didn't really like focus on the money. It was more like the education and the helping people like that we actually know like within our school deal with the abuse. We spread it more out to all types of abuse and bullying. And a really, really sweet guy named N. Campbell made a club called the Pulse Club with that. And then I spoke at some events, and then we've raised $200 for the BACA organization, which is Backers Against Child Abuse. They were at one of the events that I spoke at. So if they're really cool, if you want to look them up on YouTube. They have some really good videos. Every year, FCCLA has a organization that they send money to, and they raise donations for. And this year they did it for child abuse, for the like Alabama Child Advocacy Center, like the state one. And it's because Miss Cantrell and Lauren are on the state board, because Lauren's a state officer. So because of the modern day Muckrakers, and because of the people who donated the money and encouraged it in general, it's going to be like talked about in front of over 2,000 people in March. And it's like they were planning on doing it for something else. I'm not sure what it was, but Miss Cantrell was like, no, we need to do it for child abuse, and then started talking to them about how often it happens. And it's like, wow, someone who started this when she was 15 years old, just trying to do a project, made it to where you inspired a teacher enough to inspire other teachers to agree that that is something that needs to be talked about to over 2,000 kids and raise money for it. And that's really cool. And then we also are having a guy named Brian Early come to our school February 17th. And I tried to get him to come last year, but I raised $1,000, and I was like, I can't raise more money. So we waited until this year to get him. And I was like, well, we're gonna raise money for him to get here. And then the FCCLA made a booth on anti-bullying at the state fair, and they won $500. No, it was like $550, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but it was enough money to get Brian Early to come to our school. So everyone in the class that we did it in all agreed on having him come to the school. So I think I'm going to make more videos after this one. Some might be about maybe like Q&A, where I like ask if anybody has like questions about certain things on like Twitter, and then I know a couple of people who have questions because people always ask me questions. And then I could do one on like the effects of PTSD and mental illness, and